don't know. I don't know when I became interested in this bizarre stuff, but here we are.
Yo, what is up, everyone? My name is Emilio. That's my friend Christian. We build characters for role-playing games based on all sorts of different and generally random prompts and parameters. If you've been enjoying the show, please go ahead and like. If you're new here, consider subscribing. And now, let's roll characters!
Ridiculous.
Today, we are super excited to have yet another awesome guest. We are just getting so many great guests these days.
Woo!
Another awesome guest from the TTRPG community, Jordan Richey. Jordan is a project manager, artist, and game designer at Hit Point Press, and he is the project lead on the Emmy Award-winning Big Bad Booklet series, a zine dedicated to creating awesome boss monsters for 5e. That sounds really cool. When he's not making games, he's playing them, and has a growing indie TTRPG collection. And Jordan and his team will also be soon publishing a new campaign setting called Heckna. So Jordan, welcome to the show, and could you please tell us a little bit about this new setting?
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, Heckna comes out on Kickstarter in the next week or so, I think the 7th. And it is a cosmic clown 80s horror kind of setting, which came out of a joke, on Vecna, and became a whole thing on its own. And you get to... It sort of exists in its own little pocket dimension, like Strahd's, like Ravenloft or Barovia, and so you can just get swept up in the carnival atmosphere and find your party there, and then it becomes extremely difficult to get out, and there's scary clowns.
The carnival setting is one of my favorite settings, and I haven't seen a lot of role-playing games that have used that setting much.
It's definitely the polar opposite of our other big property, Humblewood, which is all about cute animal people. We're kind of loosening up on what we consider fantasy and borrowing a little bit from that 80s horror aesthetic. So there's some leather jackets on vampires and stuff like that. So we're having a lot of fun with that 80s heavy metal horror kind of vibe.
Shall we roll ancestry, culture, class, background, and gender, Jordan?
Yeah, let's do it up.
Grab a d10 and roll it for ancestry.
All right. We got a 5.
We're gonna have a halfling.
Oh, perfect.
How about a d10 for culture?
All right. 3 for the culture.
An elf culture. We're gonna need to figure out how they found their way to the regalia from that cultural background. A d12 for class.
It's my favorite die. Doesn't get rolled enough. Another 5.
A fighter. Okay. And then a d20 for background, please.
An 18.
That is an urchin background. A d4, please, for gender.
2.
It's a woman. Jordan, Amelia, what are your initial thoughts about who this character is?
I think with the urchin background and the elven culture, that feels like maybe they got adopted into an elven family, or were a pity case, that were picked up by an elven family.
I'm wondering if they, joined the regalia in order to get back at their adopted parents in some way.
They could have liked being an urchin, being allowed to do whatever they wanted, and the elves took it on them to save this kid that didn't want to be saved.
My rough understanding of the regalia is that people kind of almost get sucked into it. Like they're not prisoners necessarily, but it becomes a lifestyle that they can't get away from.
If you're there voluntarily, you're a reveler. You've decided to stay. The absolute chaos and nonsense is up your alley. You'll want to eat popcorn for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And as long as you're having a good time and you laugh at Heckna's jokes, he's fine with keeping you around. And doing his bidding, obviously. One of the other ways you can get stuck permanently is by becoming a thrall, or is what we call them. There are small creatures called schnozzlings. It's like a bulbous red clown nose that has this eldritch crab living inside of it. Eventually, one might latch onto your face and... Yeah, about what you would expect. They kind of attach themselves to your nose. If you get to a certain point, you're beyond helping, and you become a thrall. And you kind of are sort of completely under Heckna's control at that point. I think we should make a reveler that is voluntarily there. They've made the decision to go. That's going to make the character way more interesting.
Let me ask you about Heckna. What kind of bidding would Heckna have people do? Like, what is Heckna's vibe?
Heckna's mood is inspired by the phases of the moon. He's definitely subject to his own whims. We're not trying to draw a comparison to the Joker too much, but the idea that on a dime, his opinion of something, if he's bored of it or it's not funny anymore, he lives by the rules of comedy, and if it's not funny, it's not fun, and if it's not fun, he doesn't want to do it anymore. I think Roger Rabbit's personal cartoon rules, I like to think of that for Heckna as well. He waltzes that line between chaotic neutral and chaotic evil.
And just to kind of maybe tell this story a little bit, a young halfling child was orphaned in an elven city and was taken in by a wealthy, well-to-do elven family that worked to make them really into a cultured, good elven citizen.
Maybe there's like a My Fair Lady angle, if you remember My Fair Lady, where there's like, oh, this halfling is a mess. You would never be able to civilize this wild thing.
They're training them to be a fighter of some kind. That's where the fighter thing comes from. But really what this person has is and it's got to be something childish, like they can burp the national anthem of this city.
The thing they like doing is very different from the thing that they've been taught to do, right? They've got some kind of embarrassing hobby that the elves, hate to hear about. I like the idea that it's something as simple as like being a juggler or something that they would see as being more like a street skill, carnival type stuff for change. And they're just like, no, you don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to do those filthy art forms anymore. That would really, make the Reveilius like appealing to them.
Maybe I'm going to alienate half of our audience here, but I'm going to throw out what I think is the most odious of carnival-related activities, and that is it's unicycling, guys. It's unicycling. It's just I don't know.
Who hurt you, pal?
Yeah, I never knew this, Christian.
To tie it back into our character, even though I'm fine.
No,
talking
let's
about
not
this
though.
Forever. Yeah. Halflings are short. I don't know if you know this, but halflings are short. So they would want something that would elevate them up a little bit too.
Before we go too far down this road, I'm going to segue us into our next section here. We should probably start to figure out some of their ability scores. So what we like to do for ability scores, Jordan, is we have a little competition that we do where we'll basically just alternate rolls. We'll go straight down the line from strength all the way down to charisma. And whatever we get, we got to deal with it and work it out. And also...
Old school. Cool.
Exactly. And whoever ends up with the highest total score from both of their rolls will also win the day. So be prepared.
Oh.
If you'd like to go first, you can give us that strength roll.
I got it ready here.
Yes.
Just an average 10.
I'm feeling lucky, and I may have just jinxed myself. I'd like to go next, Christian.
Whoa. Okay.
Because
all right.
I want to knock this dex roll out so we can do the unicycle thing. A 10.
Oh no! All right.
They don't have to be good at unicycling, right? They just have to love it.
I almost like that they would be bad at it, actually.
It's funnier.
Maybe that's what Heckna's into. It's just like, This is hilarious.
He's like, oh, you're just the best. I like you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that Heckna's voice?
I'll sneak it in there a little bit later.
All right, here comes the con roll. Oh my goodness gracious, gentlemen. That is a 6.
What happens if our character is a dud?
I mean, that's even... I think the best characters are actually duds.
Please, a brainiac.
Yes.
10.
Yes.
All right, wisdom. Come on.
Oh, God.
Yes.
So it's an 8.
I don't think this person can survive in society generally.
Let's see if she's just like super lovable.
The charisma is where it's at.
Okay. Here we go.
We could do this.
16!
Hey.
Oh, what?
I'll take it.
So I have, really scraped the bottom of the barrel here with an 18 total. Jordan has a 20, and Christian has a 22.
Maybe this is in an orphanage or something like that, and you have these snooty elves coming through, and then they see our halfling, and she's like on a unicycle, and she's telling jokes, and she's got a little crowd, and she's so cute.
She's got the personality for the charm for high society. We'll fix the rest.
Yeah,
Whatever,
yes.
yeah.
Was there a bet here, maybe? Like, did they lose a bet?
No, the bet is
Can they do it?
Elven family can take the lowliest urchin and make
Yes.
them into the highest status.
How long does she last, do you think, in this noble elven home?
I don't know how long it would take, but it's on the night that she's about to just give in. And then you've got that like Fievel, American Tale. She's hanging out the window, and then she hears the sound of the regalia.
I don't know if we need to do any of the fighter class characteristics and proficiencies. Do we want to do the skill proficiencies at least?
I don't know. Let's not.
Yeah, that's fine. They don't want to be a fighter anyway, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, it doesn't matter.
As long as they can have the performance skill, I think we're good. And maybe acrobatics or something to just give her enough to get up on that unicycle.
Yes.
For you, Christian.
So we have figured out some background information about our character, and we have their personality traits: ideal, bond, and flaw. And for their personality traits, we've chosen two that really kind of fit with the fact that they're pretty young. I ask a lot of questions, and I bluntly say what other people are hinting at or hiding. Two things that really kind of make them simultaneously, annoying to a lot of the adults around them, but really appealing and hilarious to Heckna, who just sees this young person who's kind of pointing out all these obvious things and asking all these annoying questions.
For ideal, we have people. I help the people who help me. That's what keeps us alive. And so this is something that is really sort of part and parcel to being part of the Revalia and part of like a carnival or traveling sort of, carnival type vibe, which is like you all have to be working together. You all have to be doing your part. And so she's really kind of adopted that way of working with people as a result of being in the Revalia.
We decided to really jam in the knife into the back of this character by giving her a bond that is I owe my survival to another urchin who taught me to live on the streets. And so in our kind of story, multiple urchins were picked up by multiple elven families, and her friend was also adopted at the same time. And the friend is enjoying the life of luxury, obviously. But we decided she has this friend that she convinces to bring her to the Revalia. In our version of this character's background, your mileage may vary. This character gets injured or killed or something in a horrible way to really drive home the fact, just as it's too late, that Heckna's Revalia is not actually the 24-hour party it's set up to be. That leads into our flaw, which is where narratively, I think we catch up with the actual where the character is now when you start playing them, right? Which is, I will never trust anyone other than myself. Heckna has betrayed her. Heckna has proven to be not the cool uncle that he wants everyone to think he is at first, and he's in fact the weird, scary grandpa. We made that movie reference of like an Imperator Furiosa, this kind of character that has lived in this world for a long time and is now done. Like, and when you start playing it, that's where they want to become a hero again.
All right, we've got like a really fun, interesting, tragic character going here. So now we have to come up with the hardest part, her name.
I think she's got the halfling street name that she had. I think that they elfed it up and then gave her like an elven kind of spin on that name. And then there's her Revalia name, which is probably like Honkers or Bubbles or...
Wheels.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Wheels.
Wheels.
I think we need and add to the counter like a Lord of the Ringsy kind of like Underfoot, or you know what I mean, like Underhill.
I'm kind of stuck on the W, so I'm thinking like Wilda or Welma or Wekna.
Wekna, that's how you knew it was meant to be.
He only collects people whose first names rhyme with his.
Yes, I heard there was a first name that rhymed with my name.
Hey, you're doing pretty good. For your first real attempt, that was pretty close.
Do you want to give it a try, Amelia? I know you want to give it a try.
You're late to tea.
Yeah, a very merry on birthday. A very merry on birthday to you.
Willow, right? Or like...
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Willa's kind of nice.
I was actually, before I said Willa, I was thinking Willa. I would go with Willa, actually.
Yeah,
I like Willa.
Okay.
It's a very kind name.
We've got the urchin name, Willa. What is the elven name? And let's go full snooty, guys.
Do they keep a little bit of her actual name and then just extend it so it's like Willanduel or something like that?
Oh, no! Yes! What a bunch of jerks! Okay, yeah, Willandriel?
Well, yeah, Willanduel. Or...
You're saying Willangulandel?
I think Willandriel is pretty good. It has a phoned-in kind of thing to it, where like...
Yeah. Oh, God!
Your new name is Willandriel.
Willandriel!
These elves are horrible.
Put away that unicycle, Willandriel.
Yeah.
Willa, Willandriel, and what is the Heckna name?
Clown names tend to have, like, not that I've done a ton of research into it, but clown names have, like, often Mr. or Doctor, you know what I mean, in front of them. No offense to clowns. I'm gonna see a red balloon float up from my window. Maybe it's Dr. Willa, like, Wheelerbum or something, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, yes, bum being in there really kicks it up a notch. Dr. Willa Wheelerbum. That's great!
And I imagine Heckna, like, spending a lot of time thinking when she first gets there.
Yes!
It's like, we have to pick a special name for you. Something really that's gonna stick.
Okay.
Your last name is Wheelerbum.
Christian, Jordan, we have done it again. Jordan, please tell us about Dr. Willa Wheelerbum.
You asked for this. All right. Once upon a time, in some boring elfin village whose name is too long to repeat and too boring to even try, lived a little halfling urchin named Willa. Willa. So boring. She was adopted as a joke, a not very funny one, if you ask me, by a bunch of elves who thought they could make her better by making her rich. What makes life good isn't money. It's jokes. And one day, in human form, went down the main drag of this boring elven town, and I made like a looky-loo kind of eye contact with her. And that's when she knew that her true calling was making jokes in the circus. And later that night, Willa, who the elves dubbed Willandriel, it makes me want to barf, snuck out of her window with her best friend and ran away to the circus. Then some time passed and she realized it wasn't that fun. I don't like dwelling on that part too much. And now she's stuck here forever. The end.
Yes! Well done!
Amazing, amazing. Christian, do we have our character?
Yeah, we do, and now so do all of you. If you want to play Dr. Willa Wheelerbum in your game, you can click the link below for the PDF.
Jordan, thank you so much for joining us today. This was a ton of fun. Where can people find your stuff?
I work for Hit Point Press. We make Humblewood and Heckna, so hitpointpress.com if you want to see all the little things we do, or thedeckofmany.com, which is our D&D brand. My personal stuff, I'm on Twitter at Made of Cartoons, because clearly I am 100% constructed of cartoons. And that's where you can see me more as Jordan, the DM and the role player. And you can get information about the places that I actually do some Twitch streaming of RPG games. Last but not least is Heckna. Check it out on Kickstarter right now. We're hoping to unlock some amazing stretch goals for it, including that Are We the Baddies supplement that I'm writing.
Yeah.
So keep me employed and go and check out Heckna. And yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Right on.
As always, if you've enjoyed Let's Roll Characters, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode because this was a ton of fun, please give us a like, subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date, and leave us a comment. What did you think of Dr. Willa Wheelerbum? And let us know other types of characters that you'd like to see us bring to life in future episodes.
And thanks for watching.
Now, go play RPGs.
Boom, 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 boom. Characters, gonna roll characters.
I mean, I think in movies and cartoons, that's how my brain works. My Fair Lady, Wreck-It Ralph, A Grinch and the Who's, Mad Max Fury Road, Taming of the Shrew, Beetlejuice, Lion King, The Ring. It's Ed Wynn from the original Alice in Wonderland Mad Hatter. This could all be yours one day. You gotta like have too much tongue hanging out of your mouth all the time. It's a very, very popular voice. Why are you messing around in this, mess of a town? You got talent, kid. I'm gonna take this town down. This is not the canonical voice?
No,
This is just the
yes,
voice.
it is.
I think
No,
it is. I think
this
it
is
is.
it. Yeah, that's
Okay.
the one.
I'm the real monster.
You're the real Heckna.
Guilty as charged.